There's not one, but two pick sixes on Jimmy.
Oh,
I think
Jimmy
Marcus Peters on a
Handsome
roll.
turning like Jimmy Ugly.
I think no, he'll still go on those dates with those porn stars. I really think Marcus Peters is just he's so fast, and I think it's gonna bait Jimmy G into a couple passes, and I think they catch him late in the game to close it out when they're going on their final drive. And Marcus Peters just motivated right now. He got basically shoved out for a low end draft pick trade to bring in Jalen Ramsey, and he's just motivated to prove himself this year.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I think Ravens defense steps up big here.
Both defenses, it's going to be a rough day, and there are some guys in this game that fantasy owners are truly depending on, such as Lamar Jackson, such as Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, Mark Ingram. So we'll see what kind of day the Ravens have. I mean, obviously the New England Patriots didn't slow them down very much. All of the Baltimore Ravens options were fine for them fantasy-wise in that game.
That San Fran front four, though, that's going to be the determining factor. If they can contain Lamar and leave Fred Warner as a spy back there, I think they could do it. But man, Lamar's just seeing the field in a really good way right now.
Oh yeah, they got to play that read option very well.
I kind of said you kind of have to go back to that Colin Kaepernick of how you got him out of that offense, and you basically just hit him early and often. Every time there's that mesh point, whether he hands the ball off or not, you hit him. And you get them out of wanting to put him in those scenarios, because right now what's happening is he's not taking hits. He's very slick once he gets out in the open field and not taking hits, and so it doesn't force the offense, the offensive coordinator and the coach to get away from it so that they don't get their franchise quarterback injured. So what the 49ers have to do early and often in this game is lay the wood, and here's where I hate to say it. Sometimes this is where the actual reality of football is. Sometimes if you got a nutty guy like Salas out there, he's going to say, it's okay if we take a penalty too early because it's going to benefit us later in the game. So just get on him. You're not saying hurt him, but you're saying instead of laying off, if you're afraid of getting the penalty and we're going to get mad at you, go ahead and lay the wood on him, because we want them to know, look, we're going to hit him. And so if you don't want him to get hit, you better stop calling these types of plays, because I believe in him as a passer, but it's exactly like I said what happens with the Packers when they had their matchup. You're taking away what they want to do and what they're really good at, which is being multiple and versatile, and putting them in a scenario that benefits you as pass rushers and such. And that's what you want to do. They were able to do it with the Packers, and some of that had to do with the Packers' game plan. But with these guys, I believe the key is hitting him early and often, even if it means a penalty, and forcing them out of those types of play calls and putting them more in just handing the ball off to Mark Ingram in traditional runs, and him, your traditional play action and stuff where he's not a threat. That's going to be the key for this defense to be able to have a chance to slow down and even stop this the Ravens offense, in my opinion.
Big news just came out. Sorry about that, folks. Just got listed. The agent for Amari Cooper and Byron Jones was just told by both of his clients, Cooper and Jones, for the Cowboys, are expected to test the free agent market and will want to seek elsewhere. And here comes the downfall of the Cowboys.
I will say this right now. If the Packers could somehow afford to go and get him, I would take Amari Cooper over whoever is coming out in this draft.
Okay, I'm just saying. I wouldn't mind
straight
Byron
up,
Jones. Just saying.
I wouldn't
Byron
mind him either,
Jones?
but if I could take the pick of the two, I will take
Alexander Jones.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I would take
All right,
Amari
guys.
Cooper.
He's
smiling. He's a hell of a
it's
kid.
his rival. He's like, we still got a shot at the division title, and these guys are imploding.
Oh, hell yeah. So for the 49ers, the only player that I'm rolling out with any sort of confidence today is George Kittle. On the Ravens side of the ball, guys, this is a serious situation that fantasy owners are dealing with. I got to know your opinions. You say you're the Lamar Jackson owner today, but you could also pick up Carson Wentz at Miami or Jared Goff at Arizona. Are you sticking with the guy who brought you this far, or are you testing the waters?
I don't know. I picked up Sam Darnold because I think old Darney can. If I had Lamar Jackson, man, that 49ers defense scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
After watching what they did to Aaron Rodgers last week and that offensive line, and that's the thing, the Packers' offensive line is not a bunch of scrubs either. This is Bulaga, this is Bakhtiari, this is Jenkins, who hasn't allowed it. By the way, still the only rookie to allow a sack or a pressure or a QB. No, not a pressure, a QB hit this year. By the way, Corey Linsley, one of the better centers. I mean, Billy Turner is still not a scrub. He's still serviceable. And they just threw these guys around like they were freaking practice squad players. So, yeah, it's a combination of the scheme Jay said earlier that they brought out. But two, like, these guys are for real. There's not even Nick Bosa that scares me.
You're right.
You know who it is? Eric Armstead.
You can't take anything away from them. You just can't. Because they've proven game in and game out to be there. Like, to me, if it
closes so quick with them.
If I'm gonna start talking about historical greatness and throw that out there, even prematurely, in my opinion, between two defenses, I'm not gonna talk about the Patriots defense compared to, like, I think given the two. The 49ers defense is the class that they should be describing as historically great. I think the Patriots defense is a bloviated, overblown result of who the hell they've played, and that's about it. Like,
but if Lamar brought me this far, and you
have to
Carson
play Lamar,
Wentz, and then who else?
Carson or Goff against Arizona.
Goff, hell no.
Hell no,
Goff has been atrocious since the beginning or the middle of last season. Even going into the Super Bowl, he's been bad.
I understand. Arizona's literally the last ranked defense.
As good a stats as Goff. And
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not real confident that the Eagles, what they have shown in your quarterback, that they can beat Miami if Miami comes out with a great game.
So it sounds like we're taking Lamar. Great. Let's move on to the next.
If you're going to try and pick up someone else, I would go try and pick up Sam Darnold, folks. I mean, I picked him up off the waiver wire last week, and he's facing Cincinnati's defense.
You're going to feel like an absolute idiot. Like, you shouldn't have even played fantasy this year if you bench Lamar for this game and he goes off and you ended up starting some schmuck
what if he
from the
throws
waiver
3
wire.
interceptions and fumbles the ball once? I don't want
You have to take that risk, I think. He's okay, let's put it like this. And Dillon, you can either back me up or tell me I'm a moron for saying this. Lamar Jackson at this point in the season has proven to be one of the few QBs that you just ride with, and if he has a bad day, it's like, oh well, because like you just said, if you're the guy that benches Lamar Jackson and you lose your matchup by just a few points because you left him sitting on the bench, you're not only going to hate yourself, but people are going to look at you like a damn idiot. Nobody is going to shame you for playing Lamar Jackson at this point and him having a bad day. They're going to think the same thing you did. Shit happens. Like, so I think he is, and you can't say this about a lot of quarterbacks. I think Patrick Mahomes is one that's earned it. I think Russell Wilson is one that's earned it as far as fantasy, and Lamar Jackson. I think everybody else at this point, even Aaron Rodgers, has kind of been shown peaks and valleys, and that they're really not consistent from a fantasy standpoint week in and week out to just be able to plug and play and ride with them, unless the rest of your roster you feel really strong about. I think Lamar's earned that, period.
Yeah, the key for Lamar and even Russell Wilson this year hasn't necessarily been monster numbers, but they've been super efficient. I mean, they may not pass for 400 yards, but they're getting 3-4 touchdown games. When Lamar doesn't pass for major yardage, he gets 100 yards on the ground. So, yeah, you got to play him today, no doubt.
Either.
That's big, because those are negative points and results and can really kill you in a fantasy matchup.
Yeah,
like Phillip Rivers and 5 interceptions.
I know. I hate to do this. It feels like a real come down from that excellent matchup. But we got to do it. Moving to the next one. Tennessee Titans travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Yes, huge for the division, huge for the NFL. Right now, currently, the Titans are a 1-point favorite on the road and over-under. Yes. Originally started with them as 4-point underdogs, currently favored by a point. So that shows you how much T.Y. Hilton and Eric Ebron, those guys being out, really factors into the game.
Is Marlon Mack going to be active and playing? Is he healthy?
Marlon Mack is also out with a hand injury, so you can start your Jonathan Williams again.
Give me the Titans. I think Derrick Henry, I don't care how good Indy's rushing defense is. That's a wild stallion no one's going to be able to tame. He's a beast. I'm expecting another 30-point game from him. It's been 3 weeks now for 30-point games for Derrick Henry. Jesus almighty. And it's like a 75-plus yard TD in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Give me the Titans. I don't think they have enough horses to keep up, especially A.J. Brown's finding his groove now. He had that big touchdown last week, and I think after the drops, I think he gets in rhythm. Yeah, Titans. I'm taking them 30-13.
Well, what's interesting in this one, guys, you remember Malcolm Butler had been out for the season with a broken wrist. Today, apparently, his backup, LaShawn Sims, is out with an ankle injury, which means you're dealing with a third-string cornerback out there on, unfortunately, Zach Pascal. So the Colts are not going to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, because of who I matched up against, and he happens to have this player, I think this is a 42-20 game, the Titans, and I think that that Mr. Henry guy just runs wild. He might have 220 and 3 touchdowns or more. I think the Titans have finally figured out that Ryan Tannehill is more than capable of being an upper echelon game manager when you have a running back to lean on and a team that can smash the defensive line front in the mouth with their front and Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry is the engine, and this offensive line is the goal. But that's the difference between Mariota and Tannehill. Tannehill has gotten a lot of shit, but I think the thing that he even proved in Miami is that when you asked him to manage the game and just make smart decisions, he was capable of doing that. When you put everything on him on the plate as if he was a franchise quarterback and said, go out and sling the rock and win us the game, he fell apart and wasn't able to do it. You don't have to be a franchise guy to be able to win.
Running backs either.
Right, exactly. And so I think the Titans have figured out their formula. I think they figured out that he is capable of doing everything I just said, but that the game plan needs to be get Derrick Henry the ball because, that's a grown-ass man when he gets the ball in his hands. He is scary coming downhill. Just scary.
I want to point something out here about Tannehill. So, first time ever in his career, he is above passer rating 100. Not only 100, he's at 111.4 right now. He has 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. His touchdown-interception ratio is completely down from what it used to be earlier in his career. And on top of that, haven't hurt Derrick Henry. But the biggie that showed me he can take over a game if it needs to happen, Kansas City. He went and out-dueled Patrick Mahomes in that game. He's the one who put up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to put his team ahead of the Chiefs, who were a top team coming into this season. That, to me, is huge. That showed leaps and bounds in his decision-making and not going – because one thing in Miami I've seen, he wanted to go for the big play. He always wanted to go for the big play. And now – he takes the smart routes, gets the chunks, and goes up. That was a part of Gase's offense
too, because we've seen Sam Darnold go through the same kind of crap. So is that the player or the offense? Well, when 2 totally different quarterbacks are doing the same thing under the same coach, under the same scheme, I blame the scheme for that. And again, that game right there you just talked about, Dave, is why I say upper echelon game management. Yeah. Because that was a moment in which he needed to do more. And he stepped up. That's what an upper echelon game manager. Just to get Trent Dilfer gets a lot of crap for being a game manager and riding it. No, he was an upper echelon game manager. That's what it requires to win a Super Bowl. Yes, he was. Look at what he came in and did just the little things that mattered on the third downs in the 2-minute drive. And he never
was an
really
upper echelon Blake Bortles.
No, he wasn't. He actually won a ring. That's why he won a ring. He went to other teams and came from other teams that were terrible. That's why because what? They didn't do it with Elvis Grbac. They couldn't do it with Banks. It took him doing exactly what I just said. Him